Shri Chaitanya Savitam Yena Bhutalesham Rupadamayyam Dadati Sapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadgamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhutam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsa Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishna Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pshane Nirvishesha Shunvadi Pasade Sthane Novancha Kalpadruva Kripa Sindhu Evcha Patitana Pavane Bhuvashne Buno Nama Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prem Pradaji Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurse Nama He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Yatpate Gopsa Gopika Ganta Radha Ganta Ramusate Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishpahanusate Pranamami Hari Priye Niyacharni Masaya Nectar Paramatmane Balmade Subhadra Bham Jagannathaya Chanama Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We are discussing about the meaning of this Kanishtadhikari, Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari. So I'll just show the PPT on that. Actually, our different acharyas have given different definitions for Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari. So we discussed this also when we were discussing Nectar of Instruction. So according to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Uttamadhikari is one who is between Anathanivritti to Asakti. Madhyamadhikari is one who is undergoing Anathanivritti, and Kanishtadhikari is also having Anathanivritti only. Whereas according to Nectar of Instruction, Shraddha to Anathanivritti is Kanishtadhikari, Anathanivritti to Asakti is Madhyamadhikari, and Bhav and Prem, 2 levels, that is Uttamadhikari. Srimad Bhagavatam definition, Anathanivritti is a Kanishtadhikari, Nishtha to Prem is Madhyamadhikari, or Nishtha to Bhav you can say, and Bhav to Prem is Uttamadhikari. Chaitanya Charitamrita definition, Anathanivritti is Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Anathanivritti to Asakti is Uttamadhikari. That is in Sanatan Siksha. And when he speaks to Kulim Granvasi, Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, so he says, who chants Hare Krishna even once is Kanishtadhikari. That is prior to Shraddha, even when somebody is chanted once. And somebody is continuously chanting means he is between Nishtha to Prem, then Madhyamadhikari. And Uttamadhikari is by seeing whom other people chant, that is Prem level. So different acharyas in this way, the different definition for Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama. So as Krishna speaks, Chaturveda Bhajante Mam Jana Sukriti Arjuna. You just read this one, somebody can read.
Among the 4 types of persons qualified for Bhakti mentioned in the Gita, when they receive the mercy of the Lord or his devotees and eradicate those tendencies, they becomes qualified for pure Bhakti. Examples of this are Gajendra, Saunaka, and the sages, Dhruva, and also the 4 Kumaras.
So you find these 4 type of people. Like Gajendra, why did he call the Lord? Initially, why did he call?
To save him from
Distress. So Artha, he called because of distress. Then Sonak Adi rishis. Sonak Adi rishis means who are in Namisranya. Why were they hearing Srimad Bhagavatam?
Jignasa. Jignasu.
Jigyasu, they're Jigyasu, inquisitive. Dhruv Maharaj?
Ardhar.
Artharthi. He wanted money. He wanted like kingdom greater than Brahma. And 4 Kumaras? Jnani, right. So all these 4 people, they were Misra Bhaktas. They are like Karma Misra and Jnana Misra Bhaktas. But at the end, what happened is they left those tendencies. Gajendra, if you see, initial prayers are to save. And later on, he said that, my dear Lord, please save me from cycle of birth and death and give me shelter at your lotus feet. So he asked for the shelter of the lotus feet. So he began with Artha, but he ended up in Prema Bhakti. Sonakadi rishis, they were initiative to know. They asked some questions, 6 questions to Sud Goswami. And later on, they ended up in asking about Krishna. They became pure devotees. Dhruv Maharaj wanted to kingdom greater than Brahma. But when he saw Lord Narayan, he says, I don't want anything. 4 Kumaras, self-realized souls moving around Vaikuntha. But after cursing Jaya Vijay, they saw the attitude of Jaya Vijay. And then they smell the tulsi leaves in the lotus feet of Lord Narayan. They also became pure devotee. So in this way, they gave up those tendencies and became pure devotee, Uttamadhikari. So then they became like, it was practicing pure devotion service. Okay, now we will not go much in this. So what I'll do, I'll escape those slides. I'll see the slides which are important. Now we'll go to another topic. It's very important. That is desires for bhukti and mukti obstruct bhakti. Desire to enjoy this world or desire to gain liberation. Both of them obstruct the process of bhakti. Okay. This famous verse which was edited by Vallabhacharya. And later on, Jiva Goswami told him how what Rupa Goswami has written is right. It is not wrong. And later on, Vallabhacharya accepted that Jiva Goswami's whatever he's speaking is the right thing. So you can repeat after me. Bhukti mukti spraha yavat.
Bhukti
Mukti
mukti
Bhagavad
Pisachi hidi vartate.
Pisachi Vartate
Tavad bhakti sukhasyatra.
Bhakti Sukhasya
Katham abhyudayo bhavet.
Katham Abhyudayo Bhavat.
Please read.
How can the happiness of bhakti arises in the heart when the witch of desire for enjoyment and liberation remains there? This is a famous verse that was edited by Vallabhacharya, who reverted his decision after meeting Jiva Goswami. Hare Krishna.
So later on he said, no. So he says that bhukti and mukti. So because he was wondering about mukti, how can mukti be an obstruction? But even mukti can be obstruction. Mukti means liberation from miseries. But that is not enough. What devotees want is service of Krishna. Okay. So as we discussed before also, bhakti covers bhakti by desire to enjoy this world. And mukti is just concerned about oneself. There's no connection of serving Krishna or anyone else. So that's why mukti is also a dominance which covers the bhakti. Among them, mukti is more dangerous than bhakti, than a bhakti, because desire for liberation has no connection with Krishna, and also it is bereft of a personal touch. So that is how it is more dangerous. Yes, you can just read the conclusions. Therefore,
desires for enjoyment and liberation are not at all present in the perfected devotee. Devotees who are observed in the bliss of service to the lotus feet of Krishna should never desire liberation. This will be proved in the next.
you can just read this one. This is Srimad Bhagavatam. You just read translation.
To the devotees whose minds and senses have been stolen by the attractive limbs of the Lord, which contain pleasing words, glances, smiles, and pastimes, and which fulfill their desires, Bhakti offers them liberation, though they do not desire it.
Yeah. So that is how, even when devotees don't desire liberation, liberation comes in front of them. So liberation comes and says that, no, please accept me, please accept me. But devotees don't care for it. Because the bliss of bhakti is superior than bliss of other dharma artha kam moksha. Dharma artha kam is more of sense gratification, and moksha also, that is liberation. So there are a lot of quotes for that, but I will not go in those quotes. So a lot of quotes are there. Okay, this is something interesting which we can take. Then among mukti also, there are gradations of mukti. Hare Krishna. So just a minute, what has happened is, there are 4 types of mukti, and there are gradations in those type of mukti. Atra tyajayate vokta mukti panche vidhapi chet salokyadis tathapi atra bhaktya anati viruddhyate. Please read.
So the 5 types of mukti have been described as worthy of rejection. Salokya, Sastri, Samipya, and Sarukti are not so contradictory to bhakti.
So there are 5 types of mukti. One is sayujya. Sayujya means being merging in the effulgence of Krishna. That is not at all accepted by the devotees. But then there are other 4. Salokya, staying in the same lok, same planet of the Lord. Sarishti, having the same opulences like the Lord. Samipya means being very close associate of the Lord. And Sarupya means having the form like the Lord. Like in Vaikuntha, all the Vaikuntha-vasis have Sarupya. They have 400 form like Narayan. So they are not contradictory to bhakti. No. So if your devotee has desire for, okay, wait. We'll complete this section, then Anupama can ask question. So
Yes,
the
sir.
devotee has a desire for these four types of bhakti, mukti, which is independent of the desire to please Krishna, then bhakti is not anyabhilasata sunyam. It's not sunyam. That's why devotees don't even desire these four types of mukti also. Because there is some abhilasa other than pleasing Krishna. So, you can just read gradations in mukti.
There are two varieties of these four types of liberation. One predominated by the desire for happiness and power, and the other predominated by the desire for prema. The first variety is not accepted by those who are inclined to serve the Lord.
Yeah. So, especially one which is happiness and power. That means I want to accept or share or take a share of Lord's power also. So, we'll see among four they are there. Let us see whether devotees are able to. Okay. So, before I tell about these four types of muktis, you can just read what Prabhupada speaks on about it. Read these points.
The other four liberations, although not desired by devotees, still are not against the devotional ideals. Some of the liberated persons who have achieved these four stages of liberation may also develop affection for Krishna and be promoted to the Goloka Vrindavan planet in the spiritual sky. So those who are in the four liberated states may still be going through different stages of existence. In the beginning, they may went to the opulence of Krishna, but at the matured stage of dormant love for Krishna exhibited in Vrindavana becomes prominent in their hearts. As such, the pure devotees never accept the liberation of Sahajya to become one with the Supreme. One with the Supreme, though sometimes they may accept as favorable the other four liberated states.
Yeah. So these four out of four you will see which one is predominated by love and which is predominated by let us say which is predominated by desire to enjoy some power and opulence among four.
Sastri.
Sastri, yes. And what about Sarupta?
Beauty.
Yeah, beauty that also looks like that. Salokya staying in the same planet. That I don't think so much. But Samipi is predominated by love. It's more predominated by love. But when it comes to the Vrindavan pastimes, so in Vrindavan devotees, if Krishna wants them to be close to them, they'll be, otherwise not be there. So they have no personal consideration. The only desire is to please Krishna. Whatever pleases Krishna, they will do that. That's why Vrindavan mood is more superior. I know certain devotees were telling that, oh, ni other sampradayas also know, they don't chant Hare Krishna, they also go to Vaikuntha. Why, we are so much strong about chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. But the point is, Mr. Bhakti can take you till Vaikuntha, but it can't take you to Vrindavan. If one wants to be in Vrindavan, one has to practice pure devotion service. But even among Prema Bhaktas, devotee of Krishna is the best. Please read this. Okay, you can repeat after me this beautiful verse. Tatrape kanti nam sreshta Govinda hitamanasa
Govinda Manasa
Yesam Sri Saprasadopi
Yesham Srisha Prasadopi
Manohartum na saknuyat.
Mano Hartum Saknuyat.
Please read the translation.
Among the devotees who are dedicated solely to serving the Lord in prema, the devotees whose heart have been stolen by Govinda are the best. Even the kindness of Narayana or other forms of Krishna cannot steal their hearts.
Yeah. So among them, the devotees are the best. This is more given in actually now currently we are covering chapter number 4. So chapter number 4 and 5. So that's how devotees are the best among all sort of worshippers of Krishna. Okay, I'll not go through all the. There are many other quotes. Okay, these are beautiful, beautiful points. You can just read these points.
The queens, other than the principal 8 queens who were satisfied with their relationship with Krishna, describe the supreme attractiveness of Krishna's form during the pilgrimage of Kurukshetra. O saintly woman, we do not desire domination over the earth. The sovereignty of the King of Heaven, unlimited facility for enjoyment, mystic power, the position of Lord Brahma, immortality, or even attainment of the kingdom of God. We simply desire to carry on our heads the glorious dust of Lord Krishna's feet, enriched by the fragrance of kumkuma from his concert's bosom. We desire the same contact with the Supreme Lord's feet that the young woman of Praja, the aborigine Pulinda woman near the grass, and the cowherd boys tending the cows desire the touch of the dust.
Yeah. So this is words by gopis. So they don't desire anything except Krishna. So that is how they are considered the best among all the devotees. Okay, now Anupam Mukund can ask his question.
Yeah, Prabhuji, here I think some doubt I clarified, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is, so whatever the 4 liberations are there, so those belongs to only for Vaikuntha Loka, or it belongs to even Goloka also, Prabhuji?
Yeah, so same thing is, it's clarified. For Goloka, no such liberation.
Okay, so 4 liberations has to cross. Yeah, Prabhu. And one more thing, Prabhu, and even to be seen Vaikuntha Loka in generally, so in general, everyone will tell that everyone will have the same feature, I mean, same Rupa of Lord, like Sarupya. So, but even other than this 400 form also will be there, Puja.
So we have so many forms, na? Like, there are women in the Vaikuntha, they don't have Sarupa like Lord Narayan.
Okay.
And then we have many other people also. Like we have trees, we have plants, they are in Santarasa. So they also don't have form like the Lord.
Okay.
So in general, people have 400 forms, but not like everyone has.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
He also stated that like even the Mishra Bhaktas also can go to Vaikuntha.
Yes.
How can I understand the pro? Like,
no, these people have other desires, na? Like I was telling, if you have some desire to have opulence like the Lord, it is Sastri, you can go to Vaikuntha.
Okay.
Somebody has a desire to have a form like the Lord, you can go to Vaikuntha and have a form like the Lord.
Okay.
But if you have desire only to please Krishna, nothing else, then one is qualified for Golokunda. So that's why suddenly we like respect all the sampradayas. But many times our devotees, especially why I'm speaking here is this congregation from South India. So the many times they are very you can say suspicious. Why such high standards in ISKCON? You find in other sampradayas also, such high standards are not there. Like, sometimes they may be drinking tea, or they may be just having their varnashram duties, etc. They emphasize a lot on that. But not so much of time just spending and chanting Hare Krishna 2 hours, attending Mangal Arti. So many times such things are not there so much emphasized in some other sampradaya, which we so much emphasized within ISKCON. So then devotees sometimes become confused. So I know like a big group of congregation who say like that. क्या प्रो जी, जब करने से भगवत धाम जाते क्या? वहां पे वो लोग देखो, वो भी भगवत धाम जा रहे हैं, चाय पी के भी भगवत धाम जा रहे हैं. So they say like that. So, but main thing is mixed devotion service. Certainly, it's like very accommodative mixed devotion service one can go. But if you want to go to Goloka, you want Krishna Prem, then things are not that straightforward. Because among all the devotees of Krishna are the best. So that's why there does desire to get rid of the miseries of this world and go to spiritual world. Okay, fine, one can practice mixed devotion service, no problem. But if you really want to focus on pleasing Krishna only and not worry about miseries of this world or that world or anything, then one is qualified to go to Goloka. So Goloka is a place of prem, love, that's all. Krishna at the center. There's no other thought than pleasing Krishna. So that's why what we are getting is really very, very rare. So if it's rare, we also have to put some extra effort. You also have to spend 2 hours in chanting Hare Krishna. Now, I'm not saying that in other sampradayas such people are not there. There are many devotees who may be practicing pure devotion service also towards Narayan. No doubt about it. But then there may be some even other people also pretty accommodated. Okay. So we also accommodate, but we accommodate people to bring them to the highest platform. Not that you continue to remain in the lower platform and not even aspire for her platform. Okay.
Thank you, Bruce.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, we often see in the purports of Srila Prabhupada that we always desire to go back to Godhead. So that is like liberation, like Prabhupada so many times in many places stresses that one should not aspire to leave this place and go back to Godhead. So how do we take that statement?
True. Actually, that's why I'm saying it is not a non-permitted desire in the spiritual realm. It's not non-permitted, but it is not the highest also. And when we say we want to go back to Godhead, why you want to go back to Godhead is very important. It's not just going back to Godhead. So whether we want to go back to Godhead to serve Krishna, because here there are not such facilities to serve Krishna. You go out, so many non-devotees are there. You go to many places, very difficult to get prasad also. Like many places, even if you take milk, it's sometimes mixed with the little blood of the cow, because they use machines for taking out milk. So very difficult place. Padam padam yad vibdam na tesam. Whereas if you go to spiritual world, there is no impediment in serving Krishna. So the point is, do we want to go back to Godhead to serve Krishna or to live peacefully there? Oh, such a nice place, Golok Vrindavan, just go under the desire tree, desire the samosa, or desire some dosas, and dosas directly come into your mouth. No, nothing to work at all, such a relaxed place, no miseries at all. So if that is there, then that is not like a purpose of or good inspiration to go back to God. So that may be initial one, like Chaturvidha Vajantima, we gave the 4 examples of devotees. But in due course of time, we should develop that desire to please Krishna only. So that's why our goal is Krishna Prem. It's not just going back to God. It's Krishna Prem, loving Krishna. So whatever Krishna wants, we are ready with. So we should at least aspire to have those desires. Even if we don't have the desires, then we should aspire to have those desires.
And we have read in that slide, Prabhu, that People in Vaikunta also, sometimes they may aspire and go to Goloka. Like
Ah,
that.
yes, yes, yes. So there is a pastime given in the Puranas. I don't remember the Purana now. Where people in Vaikunta, Nad Muni came there and started explaining about Krishna's glories. So they became attracted to Krishna, although they were staying with Narayan. So then they went to Nad Muni secretly and they asked from him that can we also go to Goloka? We want to serve Krishna. So then Nad Muni said that, okay, I'll secretly tell you some Gopal mantra. So then they start chanting this Gopal mantra. This is the sixth Gayatri. We have 7 Gayatri, sixth Gayatri. Gayatri mantra which devotees, Brahman initiated devotees chant. So then they developed a desire to be with Krishna, very strong desire. They took permission of Lord Narayan and they went there. So one of the sannyasis, when he was speaking this pastime, so some devotee said that, Maharaj, but if husband and wife, if their husband goes, then there will be divorce in Vaikuntha. So then Maharaj said, no, no. Because in spiritual realm, we can expand also. So there are no material impediments in the spiritual world. So not that they will have divorce. There are no divorce in spiritual world. Okay.
Krishna Bhaktas, we say, means they have this liberation, they want to, not a sense gratification, but they have the desire to be with Lord, something like that. Because once we have sense gratification, we will not be able to go back.
See, both things. When we say bhakti, bhakti means sense gratification. And mukti means desire to get rid of miseries of this world. That's called mukti. So then both of them, when they're mixed, they're called mixed devotion service. Either enjoy in this world or get rid of miseries of this world. Okay. Yeah. Fine. These are quotes by Prabhupada. Please read them.
Out of many kinds of devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the one who is attracted to the original form of the Lord Krishna in Vrindavana is considered to be the foremost first-class devotee. Such a devotee is never attracted by the opulences of Vaikunta or even of Dwaraka, the royal city where Krishna ruled. The conclusion of Sri Rupa Goswami is that the devotees who are attracted by the pastimes of the Lord in Gokula or Vrindavana are the topmost devotees. Hare Krishna.
So among all the devotees, Vrindavan devotees are the best. Please read this also. These are also good points by Prabhupada.
A devotee who is attached to a particular form of the Lord does not wish to redirect his devotion to other forms. For example, Hanuman, the devotee of Lord Ramachandra, knew that there is no difference between Lord Ramachandra and Lord Narayan. And yet he still wanted to render service only unto Lord Ramachandra. That is due to the specific attraction of a particular devotee. There are many, many forms of the Lord, but Krishna is still the original form. Though all of the devotees of the different forms of the Lord are in the same category, still it is said that those who are devotees of Lord Krishna are the topmost in the list of all devotees.
Yeah. So that is again, so there may be pure devotee, like Hanuman is also pure devotee of Lord Ram. So he knows that Krishna is origin of all, but still he is very fixed in his devotion towards Lord Ram. Like we find in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So Hanumanji glorifies the Pandavas, yes. He glorifies the Pandavas. The Lord always stays with them. But still, he is very much attached to his worship to Lord. And pure devotee there also. But why? Because Krishna's form is the most superior one, most attractive, most personal. That's why devotees of Vrindavan are also called the topmost. Okay. Yes. And there are no material disqualification for the practice of bhakti. Somebody can just read. It's chapter number 5, purity of pure devotion service.
The scripture says that any human being is qualified for bhakti, just as everyone is qualified to take a bath during a month of Magha. Vasishtha, while speaking to the king, has given that example concerning devotion to the Lord.
Yeah. So there's no qualification required for bhakti, material qualification. So no piety required, no charity is required, no high worth is required. There's a beautiful verse, I think I quoted before also by Hanumanji. Na janmanunam mahato na sobagam na va na buddhir na kritisto sehetu yanopi visishta napino vanokasas chakara sakke vat lakshmanagrajaha. So, O Lakshmanagrajaha, elder brother of Lakshman, Lord Ram, na janmanunam, you are not pleased by high births. Mahato na sobagam, you are not pleased with great good fortune. Na van, not by eloquent speaking or good singing. Na buddhi, not by good intelligence where we can do a lot of analysis of the scriptures. Na kritis, not by bodily beauty. To sahitu, you are not satisfied by these things. If this was true, then Yanopi Visishtam Adapi no Vanoksas. So we, the forest dweller, Vanokasa, we are monkeys. We don't have any of these things. Still, you made friendship with us, which shows that you are satisfied only by devotion by none of these things. So therefore, none of these things are required for bhakti. Even those who are animals and birds like Jatayu, and Jatayu is actually eagle. Eagle doesn't even eat like vegetarian food. It eats rather dead corpse. But even Jatayu could become pure devotee of the Lord. Even the animals like monkeys, deer like Jamvants, they all become devotees of the Lord. So that is how anybody can become devotee of the Lord. There is no material qualification required. Yeah, please read.
From what has been previously said, it should be concluded that those who possess faith and are devoid of desires for material enjoyment and liberation are qualified for pure bhakti. This is certainly applicable to the three upper castes without distinction, but what about others? Hare Krishna.
So what about others? They are also eligible. The proof is there. This is from Padma Puran, Kasi Khanda. Anteja api tat rashtre Sankhya Chakranke Dharinaha Samprapya Vaishnavim Diksham Dikshita eva Sambhabhu. Please read.
In that country, even the outcast receiving Vaishnava initiation, wearing the marks of the conch and disc, shine like sacrificial priests.
Yeah. So in this Kasi Khanda Padma Puran, it says that if somebody accepts a Vaishnava initiation, then he becomes qualified as a priest. So that is how even outcast, Antaja, so they can also become devotees of the Lord. They are like, yes. Please read these points by Prabhupada. This is all from the Nectar of Devotion. Yes.
In the Middle Ages, after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya's great associate Lord Nityananda, a class of priestly person claimed to be the descendants of Nityananda, calling themselves the Goswami caste. They further claim that the practice and spreading of devotional service belonged only to their particular class, which was known as Nityananda Vamsha. In this way, they exercised their artificial power for some time until Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the powerful Acharya of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, completely smashed their idea. There was a great hard struggle for some time, but it has turned out successfully, and it is now correctly and practically established that devotional service is not restricted to a particular class of men. Besides that, anyone who is engaged in devotional service is already at the status of being a high-class Brahmana. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's struggle for this movement has come out successful.
Yeah. So those who are engaged in devotion service are high-class Brahmanas. Continue. These are also others.
It is on the basis of his position that anyone can now become a Gaudiya Vaishnava from any part of the world or any part of the universe. Anyone who is a pure Vaishnava is situated transcendentally, and therefore the highest qualification in the material world, namely to be on the mode of goodness, has already been achieved by such a person. Our Krishna conscious movement in the Western world is based on the above mentioned proposition of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, our spiritual master. On his authority, we are claiming members from all sections of the Western countries. The so-called Brahmanas claim that one who is not born into a Brahmana family cannot receive the sacred thread and cannot become a high-grade Vaishnava. But we do not accept such a theory because it is not supported by Rupa Goswami nor by the strength of the various scriptures.
Yeah. So anybody who can accept and get trained under a pure devotee is qualified to become devotee and better than a Brahmana. Okay. So just a minute, I'll see the slides. So that's about birth. Birth is not like prerequisite for practicing bhakti. Okay. And we are going the right line only. So now the purity. Now the second question comes, if purity is required for practicing bhakti, so then should we get purified, do some prashchitta and then practice bhakti? Or many people say, oh, we will not touch Bhagavad Gita, we are very impure. So is purity required? Is answered here. It has been already established that bhakti should be without any desire. So it has also been shown that all humans, regardless of social position, are qualified for this type of bhakti. But then everybody is qualified for bhakti, then they will neglect varnashram duties. Is that not sinful? So, and if they are sinful, then how can they become pure? So shouldn't they perform atonements, prashchitta, mentioned in the scriptures? So you can read this verse. We not recite it. Their duties expected from a qualified practitioner. Yes, please read.
The person qualified for bhakti is a fault for failing to perform all the important angas of bhakti, but he is not at fault for failing to perform the duties of varna and ashrama. If he by chance happens to commit some sin, there is no atonement prescribed for him. This is the opinion of those who know the secret of Vaishnava scriptures.
Yeah. So this is the main thing actually, which has to be understood. That what is disqualification for devotee? That you are not able to practice devotion service properly, as good as that. But let us say, if somebody is not able to perform varnashram duties properly, it is not a disqualification. So generally, why do devotees then perform varnashram duties properly? So that it becomes conducive for practice of Krishna consciousness. Why do we follow 480 principles? Because it makes us, brings us to mode of goodness, so that it becomes conducive to practice devotion service. But even if, let us say, devotee by mistake commits some sin, what is atonement for him? No atonement. Continue practicing devotion service. Because devotional service is most purifying. That's why what is sole duty of a practitioner of Krishna consciousness? Practice Krishna consciousness. That's all. Because that is most purifying, nothing else. There's nothing as much purifying. Please read. Now these are cautions. Yes, please.
It is a fault if those qualified for bhakti fail to perform the required angas of bhakti, such as observance of Ekadasi or Janmashtami. It is not a fault if they do not perform varnasrama activities. If they commit forbidden acts because of influence of previous Vaishnava aparadha, atonement is not required, since these pure devotees do not have a natural tendency for sinful actions. Bhakti alone acts as atonement. This is the conclusion of the Vaishnava scriptures. There is no fault if a person does not perform all the 64 angas of bhakti. The essential angas are the first 20 and the last 5 are chanting, hearing, Bhagavatam association with the devotees, living in a holy place, and deity worship. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So if one is able to chant Hare Krishna, hear Bhagavatam, associate with devotees, live in holy places, perform deity worship. Now devotees may be doing some lamination, that is also deities. So if we are able to do all these 5 angas, then there is no problem. No atonement is required. So, but we should try to observe Ekadasi, Janmashtami, all these things. So if we are not able to practice the angas of bhakti properly, then it is really a matter of concern. But it is not a matter of concern if somebody is not able to follow varnashram activities properly, or one is not able to get rid of certain sinful tendencies. They will go away in due course of time. They will go away in due course of time. But Sri Prabhupada is warning something. Please read.
Sri Rupa Goswami warns, however, that if a person is properly initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, he should not think that simply by the acceptance of such initiation, his business is then finished. One still has to follow the rules and regulations very carefully. If after accepting the spiritual master and being initiated, one does not follow the rules and regulations of devotion service, then he is again fallen.
Yeah. So what Prabhupada is saying, but devotees should be very careful to practice all 64 limbs of devotion service very carefully. That has to be really a concern, or at least 5 of them. Not that things end at initiation. Like for many devotees we have seen, not many, but some of them, they're very serious in practicing bhakti till they get initiation. Why? I want to get initiation. If I don't, I'm not visible in temple programs, not visible chanting Hare Krishna, I may not get initiation. But after you get initiation, you are Hare Krishna. Now Guru Maharaj's responsibility is to deliver me. Now I will do whatever I want. So it is not like that. Rather, initiation means initiating the process. That's beginning of the process. But after the beginning of the process, there's a long way to go. So that's why one should very nicely practice the limbs of devotion service. Please read.
One must be very One must be very vigilant to remember that he is part and parcel of the transcendental body of Krishna, and that is his duty as part and parcel to give service to the whole or Krishna. If we do not render service to Krishna, then again we fall down. In other words, simply becoming initiated does not elevate one to the position of a high-class Brahmana. One also has to discharge the duties and follow the regulatory principles very rigidly.
Yeah. So one has to discharge the duties and very rigidly. It's like okay. They're all important points. Please read.
Sri Rupa Goswami also says that if one is regularly discharging devotional service, there will be no question as a fall down. But even if circumstantially there is some fall down, the Vaishnava need have nothing to do with the Prayachitta, the ritualistic ceremony for purification. If someone falls down from the principles of devotional service, he need not take to the Prayachitta performances for reformation. He simply has to execute the rules and regulations for discharging devotional service, and this is the sufficient for his reinstatement. So,
Yeah.
not able to see Prabhuji down point.
Okay, there is a matured Vaishnava cult. So main thing is one has to be very rigid. So it's not that no, okay, now I'm a devotee, I can commit sin. Not like that. But at the same time, occasionally if there is some fall down, some sin, some problem is there, one doesn't have to do atonement for that. One has to just continue practicing devotion service very, very rigidly. Okay, so I'll just explain that. We don't go through the details of the slide. That each process has its own definition of piety and impiety. Like for example, those who are worshipper of karma kanda, for them, committing sin is called impiety, and doing things according to scriptures or according to varnasam dharma is called piety. That is for whom? Karma kandis. Now those who are doing Gyan Kanda or Gyan Margis, for them both piety and impiety of Karma Kandis, that means accumulating pious or impious activities, credits, is considered impiety both. And working towards detachment from this world is called piety. That is for Gyan Kanda. But for devotees who are practicing devotion service, anything which taking us away from Krishna is called impiety. Things which are taking us towards Krishna is called piety. Anukula sankalpa pratikula svarjana. So that is piety and impiety for devotees, nothing else. So that's like simple definition for devotees. Please read this point by group.
Practically, there are three processes for elevating one of the platform. 1 second. Not the platform of spiritual consciousness. These processes are called karma, jnana, and bhakti. Ritualistic performances are in the field of karma. Speculative processes are in the field of jnana. One who has taken to bhakti, the devotional service of the Lord, need have nothing to do with karma or jnana. It has been already explained that pure devotional service is without any tinge of karma or jnana. Bhakti should have no tinge of philosophical speculation or ritualistic performances. Hare Krishna.
So in this way, pure devotion service without any tinge of karma, jnana, yoga, anything. So no philosophical speculation like jnanis, and no ritualistic performances like karmis. So that is how bhakti is free from all of that. So devotees are just concerned with bhakti. This is like famous verse. You can repeat this verse after. Swapadamulam bhajata priyasya
Swapadamulam bhajata
Asamas priyasya
jaktan bhavasya hari paresa
Daktanya bhavasya hari paresha
vikarme yachotpatitam katanchit
vikarma
Vikarmayasto
patitam
katanchit
dhunoti sarvam hidi sannavishtaha.
Noti sarvam hidrisan.
Please read.
One who has thus given up all other engagements and has taken full shelter at the lotus feet of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is very dear to the Lord. Indeed, if such a surrendered soul accidentally commits some sinful activity, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated within everyone's heart, immediately takes away the reaction of such sin.
So if devotees accidentally perform some sin, Lord takes away the reaction. So for devotees, Gyan and Vairagya is not required. That is explained in this verse. This is like a very important verse. I was looking for this verse. Tavad karmani kurvita
Tavat karmani kurvita
na nirvidyeta yavata
na
Nirvidyeta yavata
mat katha sravanadova
Matkata savanadova
shraddha yavanna jayate.
Shraddha
Shraddha
yavanna
yavanna
jayate.
jayate.
Please read.
One should continue to perform the Vedic ritualistic activities until one actually becomes detached from material sense gratification and develops faith for hearing and chanting about me. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So Vedic rituals have to be performed till one becomes detached from material sense gratification and develop faith in hearing and chanting. As soon as one becomes detached from sense gratification and one gets faith in hearing chanting, one doesn't have to perform Vedic rituals at all. So after the devotees, even if they do perform Vedic rituals, that means basically karma kand rituals, etc. That may be out of duty, but they are not obliged to do that. Okay, so we will not. This is also Chakta Sadadram Chanavamare, famous verse. So what I'll do, I'll just see the. Because there are many verses like that in Bhagavatam. This famous verse, you can repeat after me. Devarsi bhutapta nirnam pitrinam
Devarsi bhutapta nranam pitranam
na kinkaro nayam rini charajan
Na
na kinkaro nayam
rajan.
sarvatmanaya saranam saranyam
Sarvatmanaya
Saranam
Saranam
Saranyam.
gato mukundam parihritya kartam.
Gato Mukundam Parihritya.
Please read translation.
Anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, Yagato Mukundam Saranam, the giver of liberation, Saranyam, giving up all kinds of obligations, Parihritya Kartam, and has taken to the path in all seriousness, Sarvatmana,
owes neither duties nor obligations, na kinkaro, na ayam rani, to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, or forefathers. Devarsi bhutatta runam pritrunam. Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 5th chapter, 41 verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So in this way, one has, as soon as one is born, one gets all these different type of debts. And different methods are prescribed in the Vedic literatures for getting rid of these debts. Like somebody debts to demigods, they are given back or they're paid back by doing fire sacrifices. Debts to the sages is done by given back by reading Vedic scriptures. Debts to the general living entities and family members, you can say, is done by doing good guest reception. By receiving guests, nice. So this is for family members and humankind. Yeah. For general living entities, the debt is given back by like maintaining them, taking care of them. Like people feed the dogs, etc. And give the grass to the cow. So that is how, by sharing or serving them, one gets rid of that. And by respecting them also. And one gets rid of the debt towards the humankind or forefathers by doing pindadan as well as producing good offsprings, garbhadhan samskar. So by both the things. So in this way, one gets rid of that. But for somebody who is taking shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, there is no obligation as such. But one should be serious about it. That's all. Please read.
Giving up all obligations, parihatya kartam, here means that the devotee rejects the distractions of one's attention caused by thinking that Indra or Chandra must be worshipped. Having surrendered, that person has destroyed all prarabdha karmas and consequently destroys being situated in varnashrama, since he has no material gunas. That person is no longer obliged to perform regular varnashrama duties. This is proof for duties expected of a qualified practitioner. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So when we say parihitya kartam, kato mukundam parihitya kartam here means is that many times what happens is there may be certain influences of the demigods and different planets which may trouble us. So then those things which are parallel to practice of Krishna consciousness can be done. But things which need exclusive attention to attract the attention of the demigods, that need not be done by the devotees. Because that takes away our attention away from Krishna. Because as soon as one practices devotional service, what happens is, as we discussed before also, slowly all karmas disappear. So I gave the example, if you remember the example of a tree whose root is cut. Similarly, as soon as we exclusively worship Krishna only, no one else. In the sense we respect demigods, but we don't worship them separately. Then one is no more bound by law of karma. But like even when the tree is like the roots are cut, it takes time for the leaves, branches, twigs to dry up. Similarly, we may have to suffer some portion of the remaining karmas, residual karmas, but we are no more in the cycle of karma. That is not there. So that is why this person is no more obliged. No more obligations. Yes, Vaishnavi Mataji.
Prabhu, we saw in the last chapter that prarabdha karmas and all will be destroyed only in the stage of nishtha, like when we practice. So what about others, Prabhu, like we are not in that state. So we also are not obliged to do all these varnashrama, I mean, ritualistic activities are.
Yeah. So why we are not obliged? I gave the example of an uprooted tree. The tree whose root is cut. So because tree is not getting any more nourishment from the soil. So then although it may seem that the twigs, branches are not yet dried up. So then one needs nourishment, tree needs nourishment. No. So tree is not obliged. So similarly for us also, whatever residual karmas are there that we may have be suffering now, they will slowly go away. But we don't have to make any extra effort for getting rid of these karmas. That is not required. So that's why for devotees, all these things are not separately required. Although, for important things, Prabhupada sometimes said that you may take shelter of the astrological calculations. But in that also, if there are some solutions which are given, which distract us away from Krishna, so then we don't have to do that. Like one astrologer told me, I have one good, mother is in a contact with good astrologer. So he doesn't give any solutions in which we have to distract our attention from Lord Vishnu. So you are telling me to worship people tree. So then I asked my other senior devotees, should I do that? Because mother is really forcing me. So then they said it is a part of 64 limbs of devotion service. You can do that. Or let us say they say that you give charity to some poor people, then you can give them prasad, no problem. So such things can be done, but we have to be careful not to do those things which take our attention away from Krishna. Because remembering Vishnu is like remembering Krishna is very important for devotees. Okay.
Also, we discussed that the depths to the sages, demigods, all such things. So if we are not completely surrendered. So what about that case? Like one who is completely 100% surrendered, so that is different case. But what about the intermediate?
See, for us, if we give attention to something else, then what happens is, then actually speaking, it is taking away our remembrance of Krishna. So that becomes an impediment. It's called an impediment. But now, certain things which may not take us away from Krishna can be done. For example, like Pindadan is there. So in Pindadan, generally devotees go to Gaya. And Gaya, they worship lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So then we can go there, we can read the pastime of Mahaprabhu doing Pindadan of Jagannath Misra there. And then we can do some Pindadan there. There's no flaw in that. So things should be, main thing is concern is that we may do certain things as a duty to set an example, but we are not obliged. But we have to be careful that these things will not distract us. That is the main thing. So this basic principle has to be maintained. Okay. See, when we say surrendered means only Krishna. That is surrender. That's famous verse. Sarvadharman parityaja mamekam saranam aham tvam sar papevyo mokshisami masucha. So this, just read the translations and the points. And then this is like end of this particular topic.
Giving up all dharmas, Sarvadharman parityaja, surrender to me alone. Mam ekam saranam raja. I will deliver you. Aham tvam moksha ishami from all sins. Sarva papebhyo. Do not worry. Masuchaha. Bhagavad Gita 18 chapter 66 verse. The word pari fully should be understood to mean that the rejection, tyaga, should be complete. I will free you from all sins. Sarva papebhyaha means I will free you from all impediments to bhakti. There is no sin for them because those with faith in bhakti give up the duties of dharma by the order of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So because Lord has said that leave everything, just surrender to me, devotee surrender. So there's no sin for devotees. Whatever residual karmas are there, they may like go away in due course of time. So that's the main thing. Okay, so I'll just see how much time is remaining. So 12 minutes. So what we will do is, I will not go further. Devotees have some questions they can ask. Otherwise we will end here. Because it's in the next section from the next verse.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
General question, Prabhu. Since there is another 10 minutes time, just asking this question, Prabhu.
No. See, somebody has a question from they can ask first.
Okay, sure.
Otherwise, then they can ask. Okay. Somebody has a question later? No. So what I'll do, I'll just tell what we discussed today. So we discussed that there's no precursor for bhakti, no qualification for bhakti. So no high births or intelligence or renunciation, anything is required. Nothing is required. But at the same time, so that is how there's no qualification. At the same time, one has to follow this principle of pure devotion service. Pure devotion service means that one doesn't go to Krishna for anything else. No desire for bhakti, no desire for mukti. Only desire to serve Krishna. And devotees don't even aspire for liberation, for entering in Brahman. They just want to serve Krishna. So these 3 points, that the only qualification to begin devotional service is the devotee's mercy, as we discussed before, that creates Sukriti. The qualification to advance in Vedic sadhana bhakti depends upon the maturity of our knowledge and faith of scriptures. That's how we define Kanishta Madhyam Uttamadhikari. The qualification to practice pure devotion service is liberation from bodily concept of life, characterized by realization that we should abandon all desires, even desire for liberation, and endeavor to please Krishna only. That is how devotee rejects both bhakti and mukti. And then we discuss how devotion service surpasses even liberation, getting rid of Brahman. So that is why Prithu Maharaj asked for millions of tongues to hear, to chant the holy names, millions of ears to hear, because he was getting such a ecstasy. Bharat Maharaj said that I don't want material comforts, I just want your pure devotion service. Lord Shiva said, Narayan para sarve nakutastan vibhati sargape varga narkesu apistalla darsana. The devotees are not fearful of or they are not concerned with whether they are in Swarga, heavenly planets, they are in hell, or they are aspiring for, or they are in liberated state. They just want service of Krishna. And then when we discuss about purity of devotion service, how it is not dependent on birth, it is not dependent on purity or any prasthita, it's not dependent on varnasam only. So the conclusion is inspiring. Bhakti yoga is totally independent and self-sufficient. No mental impediments would discourage us from the path of surrender. Now you can ask a question.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji was asking when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and after that Shad Goswami has come. Then after again there is a huge time difference. And again Jagannath Babaji Maharaj came, then again huge time again, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur. like these, what happened to, like, what was the history? Like many sahajas came, and even the paramparas deviate. Again, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur today, as he told, again, he brought in the right way. So what happened to, what was the history? I just want to know that from you.
Actually, what had happened is there were many branches after Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami and Gopal Guru Goswami and many other devotees. So Mahaprabhu had given a lot of different actually even padditis. We generally don't go in all the details of all these things to different devotees. But what has happened down the line is these padditis also need some qualification. Many of these padditis. But then unqualified people were given those padditis. That is the problem. Like for example, this many people, they are told that no, this is your sarupa in the spiritual world, and then you should practice all these important limbs of devotion service in Raghavanaga Marg. But point is that is possible only when we learn it further in NOD. That is like no, one should be at least on the level of nishtha. No anartha should be there in the heart. So if we ask ourselves that there is no lust, no envy, no greed, no anger, no illusion, then one can take to all these processes. So when unqualified people take to these processes, what happens is that they don't have any engagement many times. So then they end up in doing sinful activities in the name of devotion service. So then they become much more degraded. So it's not that preaching was not going on. We have Narottam Das Thakur, Syamananda Pandit, and so practically whole Manipur was made devotees by all these people, all these devotees. Manipur and Tripura was made devotees by Narottam Das Thakur, and Bangladesh also. And Syamananda Pandit was serving in preaching in Odisha. So whole Odisha became devotee. And then this Srinivas Acharya was preaching here in Banvishnupur, near our Kharagpur. There is a place called Banvishnupur. Whole kingdom became devotee. King became devotee whole. 64 rounds were compulsory for everyone. So they did massive preaching. But at the same time, there were some sahajiyas also who were developing because unqualified people were giving these processes. So that is the problem. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
And then there were many unauthorized people also who came in between because they knew that like Bengalis, they are very addicted to eating fish. So then they started like accommodating them by misinterpreting scriptures. See, this is the difference. Like in ISKCON also you find devotees, some devotees, especially in the Western world, having tough time to follow four principles. But within ISKCON, we never put down the standards. Rather, we say that, okay, these are the standards. If you are in this level, then try to come up. Slowly raise your standards. Not that, no, you put down the standard only. So many people, what they did is they put down the standard only. Okay, no, majority of the people are not able to give fish. Then the philosophy is that fish is vegetarian. Galerfal. Or no, there are people no who are not able to follow and like no give up illicit sex. So then they started misinterpreting the words of Mahaprabhu. What is that? A Vaishnav Sangachar. I just forgot the verse. So this verse says that who is a devotee? One who gives up the asun of non-devotees. A Vaishnavachar. Stri Sangi Ek Asadhu Krishna Bhaktar. And who are these people? Stri Sangi. Ek Asadhu. So Stri Sangi means those who are addicted to women. Asadhu, those who don't follow any, or those who are impious people. And Krishna Abhakta, one who doesn't have devotion. They may be following piety and they may be very pious people, but they're materialistic people. A Vaishnavas, Okay, Sang Tyag e Vaishnavachar, something like that. I just forgot. First line. Asat Sang Tyag e Vaishnavachar. Asat Sang Tyag e Vaishnavachar. Stri Sang ek Sadhu Krishna Bhakta. Or so this is the verse. So what these people do is they like no change the verse only or misinterpret it. They said Stri Sangi ek. Stri Sangi ek means you should not associate with people who associate with only one woman. So if they are associating with 2 women, 3 women, then no, you can associate with them, no problem. So then all the people of that sect started having at least 2 wives. You should have 2 wives, 3 wives, 4 wives, 5 wives, not 1 wife. 1 wife means then you are not fit for being a Vaishnava. Nobody will associate with you. So this is like misinterpretation of the scriptures. So then all these people came in between. So the point is for us also, we should be truthful to ourselves. If you're not in the standard, don't put down the standard. Try to come up to the standard. Okay.
Thank you.
So we'll end here. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki,
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.